Hello everyone, welcome back to Talk Fluent. We're so happy you're here with us today. If you're learning English and sometimes feel like you're stuck, don't worry, you are definitely not alone. A lot of learners understand English pretty well, but when it's time to speak, the words just don't come out the way they want. If that sounds familiar, today's episode is exactly what you need.
Hey everyone, it's great to have you with us again. You know, I hear people say, I know the grammar, but I can't speak fluently all the time. And honestly, that's completely normal. Fluency isn't about knowing every word in the dictionary. It's about using the English you already know in a natural and confident way.
That's so true. I remember learning another language and I kept waiting until I felt ready to speak. The funny thing is that perfect moment never came. I realized I improved the most when I stopped worrying about being perfect and just started talking. I made plenty of mistakes, but every conversation helped me get a little better.
Exactly, and that's what today's episode is all about. We're going to share 8 easy fluency hacks that people actually use to become more confident speakers. These aren't difficult grammar rules or boring textbook exercises. They're practical habits you can start using today, whether you're practicing at home, chatting with friends, or speaking at work or school.
By the end of this episode, you'll know how to build smoother sentences, think in English more often, practice smarter instead of harder, and sound much more natural in everyday conversations. These are tips that anyone can use, no matter your current English level.
Before we jump in, we'd love to hear from you. What's the biggest challenge you face when speaking English? Is it remembering vocabulary, feeling nervous, understanding native speakers, or something else? Tell us in the comments because we'd really like to know, and your answer might help other learners too.
And if you're enjoying learning English with us, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Talk Fluent, and share it with someone who's working on their English. Every new episode is packed with practical tips to help you speak more naturally and confidently.
All right, everyone. Grab a notebook if you'd like, get ready to practice with us, and let's dive into our very first fluency hack.
All right, let's jump into our first fluency hack, and honestly, it's one of the most powerful ones. Stop trying to build perfect sentences. Instead, focus on building simple, clear sentences. A lot of English learners think they need long, impressive sentences to sound fluent, but that's not true at all. Native speakers use short, simple sentences every single day. The basic formula is easy. Subject plus verb plus object. For example, I like coffee. She watches TV. They play soccer. Simple sentences are the foundation of fluent English.
That's such an important point. Let's look at a few more examples. I need help. We finished dinner. He bought a new phone. They enjoy traveling. My sister loves cooking. Every one of these follows the same pattern. Subject, verb, object. They're short, clear, and completely natural. If you can make hundreds of sentences like these, you'll become a much more confident speaker.
Exactly, sometimes learners stop speaking because they're searching for a difficult word. Instead of freezing, use easier words that you already know. Imagine you forget the word umbrella. You can simply say, I need something for the rain. Your conversation keeps moving, and that's what fluency is all about.
Let me ask you something. If someone asks, what did you do today? Would you rather spend 30 seconds trying to build one perfect sentence or answer right away with simple English? Most native speakers would choose the second option. You could say, I worked today, then I cooked dinner, now I'm watching this video. That's smooth, natural, and easy to understand.
I actually do this when I'm learning new vocabulary. First, I learn one new word, then I make 5 simple sentences with it. For example, let's use the word practice. I can say, I practice English every morning. My friend practices guitar. We practice before the test. She practices speaking with her classmates. They practice every weekend. The more simple sentences you create, the faster your brain starts thinking in English instead of translating.
That's a great habit. Now it's your turn. Grab a piece of paper or even use your phone. Pick one easy verb like eat, go, watch, or learn. Can you make 5 simple sentences? Don't overthink it, just keep writing. And when you're finished, share one of your sentences in the comments. We'd love to read it.
Here's another tip that many learners forget. Don't only practice positive sentences. Practice negative ones too. The structure is just as important. For example, I don't drink coffee. She doesn't like spicy food. We didn't watch the movie. They aren't ready yet. Notice how the sentence structure stays simple. You're just changing the meaning.
Right, and questions are just as useful. Listen to these. Do you like pizza? Does he play tennis? Did they arrive on time? Are you ready? When you practice statements, negatives, and questions together, you prepare yourself for real conversations because that's exactly how people speak every day.
Let's do a quick practice together. I'll say a positive sentence and you change it into a negative sentence. Ready? I play basketball.
The answer is I don't play basketball. Easy.
Here's another one. She works on Saturdays.
That becomes she doesn't work on Saturdays.
Great, one more. They visited their grandparents.
The negative version is they didn't visit their grandparents. If you got those right, you're already building stronger speaking habits.
Here's something else that really helped me. I stopped memorizing long grammar rules and started memorizing sentence patterns. Instead of remembering one word, I remembered an entire sentence. For example, instead of only learning the word hungry, I learned, I'm hungry, let's grab something to eat. Now I don't have to think about grammar. The whole sentence comes naturally.
That's exactly how children learn their first language. They hear complete phrases again and again until they become automatic. You can do the same with English. Collect useful everyday sentences like I'm on my way, that sounds great, I'll think about it, or can you help me? Practice saying them out loud until they feel natural.
Let me ask everyone listening another question. When was the last time you spoke English out loud, even if you were alone? If your answer is not recently, today's the perfect day to start. Spend just 5 minutes speaking to yourself about your day. It may feel a little strange at first, but it's one of the fastest ways to become more comfortable speaking.
Here's another challenge for you. Look around the room you're in right now and make 5 simple English sentences. Maybe you say the window is open, my phone is on the table, I'm sitting in a chair, the room is quiet, I have a bottle of water. Little exercises like this train your brain to think directly in English.
Remember, fluency doesn't come from using difficult words. It comes from using simple English quickly, clearly, and confidently. Every short sentence you speak is another step toward becoming a fluent English speaker. So don't wait until your English feels perfect. Start speaking with what you already know, and your confidence will grow every single day.
Let's wrap up this first section. Today you've learned our first fluency hack. Build simple sentences using the basic structure of subject plus verb plus object, practice positive sentences, negative sentences, and questions, and repeat useful sentence patterns until they become automatic. Keep practicing a little every day, and you'll be amazed at how much more natural your English starts to sound.
Welcome back. Now that we've talked about building simple sentences, let's move on to our second fluency hack. This one can completely change the way you speak English. Instead of translating every sentence from your native language, start thinking in English. I know that sounds difficult at first, but don't worry. You don't have to think about complicated topics right away. Start with the little things you see and do every day.
That's a huge tip. When learners translate, their brains have to do 2 jobs. First, they create the sentence in their own language, then they translate it into English. That takes time and it makes conversations feel slow. But when you think directly in English, your responses become much faster and more natural.
Exactly, let me give you a real-life example. Imagine you're making breakfast. Instead of thinking, how do I say this in English? Just describe what you're doing. You can say, I'm making coffee. I'm cutting some bread. The eggs are almost ready. These are short thoughts, but they're all in English.
Here's another situation. You're walking to work or school. Look around and describe what you see. The traffic is busy today. That dog looks happy. The weather is beautiful. A bus is stopping. You don't have to speak loudly. Even thinking these sentences in your head is great practice.
Let's show everyone a quick conversation using this idea.
Sounds good, I'll start. Hey, what are you doing this afternoon?
I'm meeting a friend for coffee. After that, I'm going to the grocery store.
Nice, are you cooking dinner tonight?
Yes, I'm making pasta. It's one of my favorite meals.
See how simple that conversation is. There aren't any difficult words, but it sounds completely natural.
That's because fluent English isn't about using fancy vocabulary. It's about using common words confidently. Most daily conversations are built with words you probably already know.
Now let's compare formal and informal English. Imagine your manager asks, can you join the meeting at 2? A professional answer might be, yes, I'll be there. That's polite and clear.
But if your friend texts, want to grab lunch, you could simply reply, sure, sounds good. That's casual English. Native speakers change their language depending on the situation, and you should practice both styles.
Here's another example. Formal, I apologize for the delay. Informal, sorry I'm late. Both are correct. The difference is when you use them.
Let's do a quick practice activity. I'll describe a situation and you think of a simple English sentence before we give the answer. You're at a coffee shop and you're ready to order. A natural sentence could be, I'd like a medium coffee, please.
Great, here's another one. Your friend asks how your weekend was. You might answer, it was great. I relaxed, watched a movie, and spent time with my family. Notice that it's simple, honest, and easy to understand.
One thing that really helped me improve was talking to myself during everyday activities. While cleaning my room, I'd say things like, I need to fold these clothes. This shelf is dusty. Where did I put my keys? It sounds funny, but it works because you're practicing real English for real situations.
I do something similar when I'm driving. I'll say, the light just turned green. I need to stop for gas. There's a lot of traffic today. These little moments add up. 5 minutes here and 5 minutes, there can become hours of speaking practice over a month.
Here are 3 tips to make this habit even easier. First, use words you already know. Don't stop to look up every new word. Second, describe your surroundings whenever you have a free minute. Third, don't worry if your sentences aren't perfect. The goal is to keep your thoughts moving in English.
That's the secret. Fluency grows through consistency, not perfection. Even if you only practice for 10 minutes a day, you're building a habit that gets stronger over time.
We'd love to hear from you again. Which of these tips are you going to try first? Will you describe your morning routine, your workspace, or your daily commute in English? Let us know in the comments. Your ideas might inspire someone else to practice too.
Before we finish this section, let's do one final challenge. Right after this episode, spend 1 minute thinking only in English. Describe everything around you using short, simple sentences. If you get stuck, don't switch languages. Find another easy English word and keep going.
Remember, every fluent speaker started with simple thoughts. The more often you think directly in English, the less you'll depend on translation and the more natural your conversations will become.
Let's review what we've covered. Build on the simple sentence patterns from our first section, practice thinking in English during everyday activities, and learn when to use formal and informal expressions. These small habits can make a huge difference, and they'll help you speak with greater speed and confidence every single day.
Welcome back. We've already covered 2 fluency hacks, building simple sentences and thinking directly in English. Now it's time for fluency hack number 3, and this one is one of my favorites. Stop studying English only from books. Start collecting real English that people actually use every day. The fastest way to sound more natural isn't learning hundreds of new words. It's learning useful phrases that native speakers say all the time.
I couldn't agree more. Think about it. Native speakers don't create every sentence from scratch. They use ready-made expressions. For example, instead of saying, "I understand your meaning," most people simply say, "I get it." Instead of saying, "That is an excellent idea," they might say, "That's a great idea." These little expressions make your English sound much more relaxed and conversational.
Exactly, let's look at a few everyday situations. Imagine your friend invites you to a movie. They ask, "Do you want to come with us tonight?" Instead of replying, "Yes, I would enjoy participating," you can simply say, "Sure. I'm in." That's short, friendly, and very natural.
Here's another one. Someone thanks you for helping them. You could say, "You're welcome." But you could also say, "No problem," or "anytime," or even "happy to help." All of those are common in everyday conversations, but each has a slightly different tone.
Speaking of tone, that's something many learners overlook. The words you choose matter, but so does how you say them. For example, imagine someone tells you they got a new job. If you quietly say, "That's nice," it might sound like you're not interested. But if you smile and say, "That's awesome, congratulations," your excitement feels genuine.
Right? Fluency isn't just about grammar. It's about sounding friendly, confident, and engaged. Sometimes changing your voice, adding a little energy, or stressing the right word makes a huge difference.
Let's demonstrate with a short conversation. I'll start. "Hey, have you seen the new coffee shop downtown?"
Yeah, I checked it out yesterday.
"Really? How was it?"
It was pretty good. The coffee was amazing and the staff were super friendly.
"Nice, I'll have to give it a try this weekend."
Did you notice something? None of those sentences were difficult. But together they sound like a real conversation because they're built with natural expressions.
Here's another tip. Learn English in chunks instead of single words. For example, don't just memorize the word decision. Learn the phrase make a decision. Don't just learn photo. Learn take a photo. Instead of only learning mistake, remember make a mistake. Your brain remembers phrases much more easily than isolated words.
That's because English has lots of common word partnerships, often called collocations. Native speakers don't think about them, they just use them automatically. The more chunks you learn, the smoother your speech becomes.
Let's practice together. I'll give you one word and see if you can guess the natural phrase. Ready? The word is homework. A natural phrase is do your homework, not make your homework. Here's another one. The word is break. The common phrase is take a break. These combinations appear in conversations every single day.
Great job, here's another challenge, complete these phrases. Catch a, the answer is catch a bus. Pay attention. Save money. Learning these chunks will make your English flow much more naturally.
Now let's talk about real-life practice. Imagine you're at the grocery store. Instead of silently shopping, practice English in your mind. "I'm looking for some milk. I think these apples look fresh. That line is too long. I'll pay by card." You're practicing useful English that you can actually use outside your home.
Or imagine you're talking with a coworker. How's your day going? It's been pretty busy. I can't wait for the weekend. Those are simple expressions you'll hear again and again.
Before we finish this section, here are 3 more practical tips. First, watch short videos or podcasts and pay attention to complete phrases instead of individual words. Second, keep a notebook where you write useful expressions you hear every day. Third, use each new phrase in at least 3 different sentences before trying to memorize another one.
That's a fantastic strategy because repetition builds confidence. The more often you use a phrase, the faster it becomes part of your everyday vocabulary.
We'd love another challenge from you. Write one natural English phrase that you already know in the comments, and then use it in your own sentence. Reading other learners' examples is a great way to discover new expressions too.
And here's one final speaking exercise. Pick 5 useful expressions from today's lesson and say each one out loud 3 times. Then use them in a short conversation with yourself. Don't rush. Focus on sounding relaxed and natural rather than speaking quickly.
Remember, real fluency comes from using English the way people actually speak. Build simple sentences, think directly in English, and collect useful phrases instead of isolated words. Those 3 habits alone can transform the way you communicate.
Let's review this section before we move on. Today you learned that natural English is built with everyday expressions, common word combinations, and confident delivery. Practice these habits consistently, speak out loud whenever you can, and don't be afraid to keep conversations simple. That's exactly how fluent speakers grow every single day.
Before we move on to our practice activity, let's talk about something every English learner experiences: making mistakes. Honestly, we've both made plenty of them and we still do sometimes. That's completely normal. The biggest mistake isn't saying something incorrectly. The biggest mistake is staying silent because you're afraid of getting it wrong. Every conversation is a chance to improve.
Absolutely, let's look at some common mistakes that many learners make, and more importantly, how to fix them.
The first mistake is translating every sentence from your native language before speaking. It feels safe, but it slows you down. Instead of thinking in another language first, try building a simple English sentence with the words you already know.
Here's an example. Instead of pausing for a long time to translate a perfect sentence, simply say, "I'm looking for the bus station." Clear communication is much more important than using complicated grammar. If you can get your message across, you're doing a great job.
The second mistake is believing that difficult vocabulary makes you sound fluent. It really doesn't. Native speakers often use simple words in everyday conversations. Saying, "I'm really tired," sounds much more natural than trying to force a long, formal expression that you aren't comfortable using.
Here's a quick comparison. Less natural, "I desire to purchase this item." More natural, "I'd like to buy this." Both are correct, but the second one is what you'll hear much more often in daily life.
The third mistake is speaking too fast. Many learners think fast English sounds fluent, but if people can't understand you, speaking quickly doesn't help. Slow down just a little, pronounce your words clearly, and let your confidence grow naturally.
Try repeating this sentence with us. "I'm learning English every day and I'm getting better." Don't rush it, say it clearly. Then try it again with a natural rhythm. You'll notice that clear speech sounds much more confident.
The fourth mistake is stopping the conversation after making one small error. We've all done that. You say the wrong word, panic, and suddenly forget everything else. Instead, keep going. You can simply say, "Let me say that another way," or "What I mean is." Native speakers use these expressions too when they want to explain something differently.
Here's a fun example. Imagine you accidentally say, "I drink my homework." Everyone would probably smile because they know you meant, "I do my homework." It's a funny mistake, but it's also memorable. Chances are you'll never mix those up again.
Exactly, mistakes aren't signs of failure, they're signs that you're practicing. Every mistake teaches you something new, and every conversation makes you a little more confident. So don't wait until your English is perfect. Start speaking today, even if your sentences are simple.
Let's quickly review. Don't translate every thought. Don't worry about using big words. Don't try to speak too fast. And most importantly, don't let mistakes stop you from communicating. Keep talking, keep practicing, and you'll be surprised by how much your fluency improves over time. In the next section, we're going to put everything you've learned into action with some fun speaking practice.
Awesome job making it this far. Now it's time for one of our favorite parts of every episode. Let's put everything you've learned into practice. This activity is called Choose the Correct Sentence. Don't just listen to us. We want you to think about your answer first, then say it out loud before we reveal the correct one. Speaking out loud is one of the fastest ways to build confidence.
Exactly, remember this isn't a test, it's practice. If you choose the wrong answer, that's perfectly okay. Every mistake helps you learn something new. Ready? Let's begin with our first situation.
Situation number 1, you're meeting a friend for coffee and they ask, how are you today? Option A, I'm very fine, thank you. Option B, I'm doing pretty good, thanks, how about you? Take a second and choose your answer.
The better choice is option B. While I'm very fine isn't always incorrect. It's not something you'll hear very often in everyday American English. Native speakers usually say things like, I'm doing pretty good, I'm doing well, or not bad. These responses sound much more natural in casual conversations.
Great, here's situation number 2, your coworker asks if you can help with a project. Option A, sure, I'd be happy to help. Option B, yes, I can helping you. Which one sounds better?
The answer is option A. It's grammatically correct, polite, and friendly. Option B has a grammar mistake because after can, we use the base form of the verb, so we say I can help, not I can helping.
Here's number 3, you're telling someone about your weekend. Option A, I watched a movie and relaxed at home. Option B, I was watch movie and relax home. Think about it before we continue.
The correct answer is option A. It uses the simple past tense correctly and sounds smooth and natural. Remember, everyday English is usually simple. You don't need long or complicated sentences to sound fluent.
Let's make it a little more interesting. Situation number 4, a friend invites you to dinner but you're busy. Option A, sorry, I can't make it tonight. Option B, I refuse your invitation. Which one would you actually hear in real life?
Definitely option A. I refuse your invitation is extremely formal and can even sound rude in a casual conversation. Native speakers usually say things like, I can't make it, maybe next time, or I'm tied up tonight. Your words should match the situation and your relationship with the other person.
Here's our final challenge. Someone compliments your English and says, your English is really improving. Option A, thank you, I'm practicing every day. Option B, yes, I know my English is excellent. Which response sounds friendlier?
Option A is the clear winner. It's polite, appreciative, and keeps the conversation going. Option B might sound a little overconfident in everyday situations. A simple thank you is usually the best response to a compliment.
Now let's take these examples one step further. Try changing each correct sentence into your own version. Instead of saying, I'm doing pretty good, maybe say, I'm doing great. Instead of, I'd be happy to help, you could say, of course. What do you need? The more variations you practice, the more flexible your English becomes.
That's a great habit because real conversations are never exactly the same. Sometimes you'll speak with friends, sometimes with coworkers, and sometimes with people you've just met. Learning a few different ways to express the same idea makes your English sound much more natural.
Here's your challenge for today. Write one sentence in the comments using one of the expressions we practiced in this episode. Then create another sentence that's completely your own. Reading your examples is one of our favorite parts because it shows that you're actually using what you've learned.
And don't forget to practice out loud. Reading silently is helpful, but speaking trains your mouth, your ears, and your brain to work together. Even 5 minutes of speaking practice every day can make a huge difference over time.
Remember, fluency isn't about speaking perfectly. It's about communicating confidently, clearly, and naturally. Every conversation, every sentence, and every small step brings you closer to becoming a fluent English speaker.
That's exactly right. Keep practicing, stay curious, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. Real conversations matter much more than perfect grammar, and every time you speak, you're becoming a stronger English communicator.
Wow, what a fantastic episode. Today we've covered 8 simple fluency hacks that can make a real difference in the way you speak English. Remember, becoming fluent isn't about memorizing thousands of words or knowing every grammar rule. It's about building good habits and practicing them consistently. Every simple sentence you speak, every new phrase you learn, and every conversation you have brings you one step closer to speaking English with confidence.
Let's do a quick recap. First, we learned how powerful simple sentence patterns can be. Then we talked about thinking directly in English instead of translating. We also explored the importance of learning useful phrases instead of just individual words, speaking at a comfortable pace, and practicing with real-life situations. Finally, we looked at common mistakes to avoid and finished with some interactive speaking practice that you can continue on your own every day.
Here's something we hope you'll always remember. You don't have to sound like a native speaker to be a successful English speaker. Your goal is to communicate clearly, confidently, and naturally. Don't let fear stop you from speaking. Every mistake is another opportunity to learn, and every conversation helps you improve. Be patient with yourself because progress happens one small step at a time.
Now we'd love to hear from you. Which fluency hack are you going to start using today? Is it thinking in English, practicing sentence patterns, collecting useful phrases, or speaking out loud every day? Tell us in the comments, because your experience might encourage someone else who's learning alongside you.
If you found this episode helpful, please give it a thumbs up, share it with a friend who's learning English, and subscribe to Talk Fluent so you never miss a new lesson. We upload practical episodes packed with real English, everyday conversations, and easy techniques that help you sound more confident every time you speak.
Thank you so much for spending your time with us today. We truly appreciate every single one of you, and we're excited to be part of your English learning journey. Keep practicing, keep speaking, and most importantly, keep believing in yourself. Every day is another chance to become a more confident English speaker. Until our next episode, take care, stay motivated, and keep talking. See you next time.